This is the Casio ProTrek Pathfinder PRG240T. It's also known as the PAG240T. And I've had this watch for about 2 weeks now, and I used it last week on a backpacking trip upstate New York. And first, I like this watch. It looks similar to the most similar of the newer ProTreks to the original PRG40T, which is a PRG40 Casio Pathfinder, the original one that came out like about 10 years ago now. It looks most like it, so naturally I liked the way this one looked. The older one being my favorite ever of the Pathfinders. The main issue, this is not going to be a complete video on this watch, but the main issue is just the compass. I don't really like the way the compass is set up on this watch. It is one of the most frustrating compasses to use, especially when you orienting a map or planning a route during your backpacking trip. So to start, I'm going to hit the compass, and the watch is perfectly flat. It's in my hand. You can see there it moves a lot between 248 to 247. It's accurate. That's not a complaint, but it moves a lot. And say I'm orientating a map. I'm trying to find some information on the map right now, and I am, using the compass. There you go. It blanks out after 20 seconds, and it is, I don't know why it does that. I've been told that it does that because it's like a power feature to not have the compass. I don't get it, because usually these watches, they stop reading after 20 seconds anyway, but the data stays on the screen. So say I put the watch in the ground, and this watch is like, say it's on my map right now, and I hit compass, and I'm orientating my map, and say that is how my map is laid out on the ground right now, and I'm looking at information on the map, and maybe I'm talking to my hikers, my friends that I'm hiking with, about the best route, where to go. You see there the numbers are moving all the time, and it blanks out after 20 seconds. Not cool. Put it down on the ground again. So it's flat. I'm not moving it. So I'm planning my route. I'm talking, finding a way how to get from point A to point B. First of all, this is always moving. I don't know why, even though the watch is perfectly still. It's always moving between 1 and 2, 3 increments of the bearing, and it blanks out every 20 seconds. Or maybe less. It feels like less than 20 seconds. So you have to keep hitting A again, which moves the watch a little bit. So it's like, and then using the bezel is just like really loose on this watch. So that doesn't really help you. Like say I want to hold it to north. It's just really not cool. It just moves the watch, and then the bezel itself is loose. And that's not very helpful. And it blanks out after 20 seconds. So you have to keep pressing that button. I really don't like that about this watch. It's one of the most annoying things, I think. So it makes the compass pretty much hard to use. Everything else is alright. The only other thing I had an issue with was the barometer chart. It's tiny. It's on a tiny grid pattern, and each one of these blocks represents, I think, 2 or 3 hours. And this whole thing, the x-axis here is 24 hours, and the y-axis is about the range of the barometric pressure between 260 HPA and 1000 HPA. So it's a big range on the y-axis, and a big range on the x-axis below. And it's just a tiny little graph for such a broad range of data, and it's not hard to read, but it's just the dots usually tend to be all over the place, so you can't really get a good idea of how the weather is doing, the range over the 24-hour period. Over the x-axis, it's hard to get a understanding of how it looks. And I only noticed this because my older Pathfinder, the PRG40, this graph was the entire screen, so you could get a decent glimpse of the range over a 24-hour period of the pressure going up and down. Altimeter is about the same. It's dependent on a barometric pressure, so no complaints there. It's what it is. Another feature about this watch that I thought would have been cool, but I really don't care anymore, is the sunset feature. It tells me right now the sun came up at 5:25 a.m. this morning, and it will set at 8:25 p.m. This data doesn't really change. It's been saying this for like about 2 weeks now. It's June 2nd. So I think after a certain period of time in the season, the sunset and sunrise and sunset data don't really change that much over a period of days. So so if you go on a week-long backpacking trip, you can look this up on the internet and you'll see that the sunrise, sunset over a week-long backpacking trip, or even 2 weeks of backpacking in the woods, it's not going to change that much. You know, it's going to be maybe 5-10 minutes. So that data isn't really useful as I thought it would have been, because you could look it up online and then you'll see, like, say if you're going away for a week, it's not going to change that much. The sun is always going to rise between 5:20 and 5:25 at some point, and the sun is going to set around 8:25 average over a week period. So it's not like hitting this button every day is going to give you information that you don't really expect, basically. So it's not really a feature that I'm coming to appreciate. It's just there. It's on the watch, and that's about it. Everything else is regular. You can record your altimeter data. You have your world time. I have it set to London. That's where my family lives. You have your stopwatch, and this actually is still going from before. I think from last night. And you have your timer, countdown timer, whatever. Basic stuff of 5 alarms, and back to time. You could also change this little graph to show different things. It's Sunday today, June 2nd, and the year is 2013. And the barometric reading is going down, I believe. I believe it's going down. That dot that's blinking, it's the current change in the pressure right now. It looks like it's leveling out. So that means maybe the pressure or the weather is dropping, but it's been sunny. The forecast shows sunshine throughout the day, but it's going to rain tomorrow. So I'm not sure if that's what that's trying to tell me. And that's pretty much it for this watch. This is the Casio PAG240T, the titanium one. I have this wrapped in Scotch tape, actually, because this tends to scratch. The titanium, it rubs off a lot. So just in case I want to return the watch, I've had it for about 2 weeks now, but I might return it because just the compass feature makes it unusable. And it's one of the things I don't rely on, but it's one of the things I like to work on a watch like this. Considering the price is about $300. So I might return it at the end of the week. At the end of the weekend, actually. It's the weekend now. Tomorrow I might return it. And that's it.